Oh god, I can't wait
What
to
can
beat
you do to beat
I
me?
can't wait to beat you and take a buzzer and just zzz right through that thing.
Just because he's a
Can't wait.
professional at other card games, he thinks that Hearthstone's easy. We're about to get into game number 1 right now, because this one is a big one. Team battle going on right now. Kaldi versus Powder. Both of these guys looking to put big wins on the board in a big way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I really expect Powder to come out aggressive in this, and you know, I've said a lot in the show, I love this deck.
It's just so good. Like, so many synergies are happening here. So many ways to attack the board position early. It punishes big hands. It recovers from behind scenarios. What more can you ask for from a deck?
Yeah, it just feels like the most versatile deck, or one of the most versatile decks in Hearthstone to me. It feels like it has game in every matchup. When I'm playing it, I'm never like, oh man, this matchup again. You know, God, I can't win this one. But I mean, look at Powder. We're already seeing the yawn from him. Hopefully that's an energy drink or some coffee.
Well, looks like something. I wonder what that is. Looks delicious.
I was gonna say, it looks great. Can I get one of those?
No, you can't. You have to sit there and cast this game with me. We're going to get a look at Kaldi's perspective as soon as the client resolves its issues that it seems to have with us every single day, because it hates us more than I hate Nickelback. So
Nickelback.
So Powder, pretty darn good opening hand here too. I mean, never unhappy with Torment Voidcaller. And Kaldi's bringing Freeze Mage here. This is right up his alley.
Yeah, you know what? I'm always interested to look at Powder during his matches. He's eating, he's drinking, you know, he's having a good time listening to Taylor Swift, you know, and Miley Cyrus. Just, you know, just carefree, say la vie, happy-go-lucky, love it.
You gotta be comfortable in your matches. You know, comfort is a big issue when you're trying to focus on things where, especially little minor things are concerned. Like, you can't afford small sequencing mistakes. You're trying to pick up reads on your opponent. There's lots of different ways that you can approach that situation.
Yeah, we've seen Powder actually make a couple of those little misplays here. We saw here that Rogue game where, you know, he thought he had an extra durability on his weapon, or just maybe played his turn a little too fast and got really punished for it. And then it's always interesting for me to see the other player on the side of Powder, because Kaldi, you know, almost the exact opposite. And I'm not saying, you know, he's all tense and everything. It's just that's his comfort zone, just cool, calm, collected. You know, not wearing my heart on my sleeve.
Very surprised Kaldi doesn't choose to use Hero Power in this spot.
You know, he just wants to draw some extra cards here. He's going to get to trade in here. He's just going to take a little extra damage. You know, since he has an Ice Barrier in his hand and he already has an Ice Block set up, I think he feels that he's, you know, secure in this late game. He just wants to make sure he can draw some extra cards. And then, you know, on turn 4, he can maybe do multiple things.
Yeah, definitely possible. His mana is used a lot more efficiently if he chooses to Hero Power. This is, of course, assuming he doesn't draw anything he can do with it. You know, one of the big talking points here is if he picks up something like Mad Scientist or Loot Hoarder in this second spot, suddenly his turn looks brilliant. And he kind of accomplishes the same exact goal in this situation, but he takes a little bit more damage over the long haul.
No, you know, I kind of agree with you. I either like Hero Powering or Ice Barrier in that turn, and then, you know, Loot Hoarder plus something this turn, I think would have been maybe a little bit better, but again, I was just trying to give you a perspective in Kaldi, and like, I don't hate the play at all. It's perfectly fine.
Yep. So Powder just gonna have to be content with adding damage to the board and start making his pushes. And finds out it's Ice Barrier. Always good sequencing from Powder too. You know, aside from, you know, I'm not gonna keep bringing up old stuff here. You know, at times, you know, fatigue is gonna get to him, but checking to see, like, maybe this is Mirror NC, maybe it's a weird mage deck.
Yeah, that's another point that we bring up, you know, sometimes that people, you know, I really feel they need to be reminded. These players, you know, they're professionals, but they play all day long, and this is way into the night and early into the morning for them in their matches. Powder even brought it up that in one of his interviews, you can even hear it in his voice, he was exhausted. He'd been playing all day, played another tournament, then came and played in hours. And it's so hard to be 100% for every one of those games, for every single one.
It's part of what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of what it takes. I'm just saying it's difficult for anyone.
Yep. Kaldi gonna have to be content with Frostbolting just to pull damage off the board. And I don't know where this Hero Power can end up being pointed. Setting up Blizzard in future turns. But this is looking kind of ugly for him. Has no card draw. And frankly, his hand's kind of dead.
Yeah, his hand is not very good going forward. This won't even be that great of an Emperor Thaurissan hand. You know, he does get to make Archmage Antonice and Alex Straza both cheaper, which could be good going forward, but he needs some of those support cards, and he needs them soon.
Now, just damage in the meantime for Powder. This is a pretty cut and dry game as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, this game is just going to be, ooh, that was a decent one picked up for him. He's going to be able to draw some extra cards here. Now, we're going to talk about that fact that Emperor Thaurissan, pseudo-taunt.
Yeah, I don't actually know if Powder can really afford to straight up invest into killing this Emperor Thaurissan, but at the same time, can he afford to not kill it?
Yeah, the thing is here is, what do you do here? Do you use Direwolf Alpha to do it? Do you Implosion to start? there's a lot of options he can use here. In fact, he can actually, get a 4/4 out of this Nerubian Egg this turn if he wants.
Yeah, I think this spot he's comfortable playing into a Flame Strike pretty heavily because he's got Void Collar Mal'Ganis.
So you're telling me he's okay with Mal'Ganis coming into play?
He's definitely okay with Mal'Ganis coming into play.
It's a pretty hard one for Kaldi's deck to deal with.
And this is part of what is making this deck so strong, is that even when it's playing into these massive kinds of board swings, they get something out of it. It's going to leave the Nerubian Egg protected, though. I do like this a little bit better. And this also fills his board up to just be an absolute monster versus what Kaldi can throw at him. But Kaldi's okay with this board position. I mean, look at his hand right now. Frost Nova, Acolyte of Pain, Mad Scientist. What more could you be asking for?
Yeah, there's a chance he just pings his Acolyte of Pain here as well to draw an extra card before he Frost Novas here. And he's actually just going to take a ton of damage here.
Yeah, he's comfortable with just taking the damage. It is a lot on board right now. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But he's sitting under an Ice Block. He's not going to get lethal this turn.
Yeah, but if his Ice Block were to get popped this turn, that would be terrible for him.
Yeah, it's not going to happen though with the full board. If Powder wants to pull any of his minions off his board, it means it's less damage that's going for Kaldi's face. Plus, he gets the Ice Barrier behind that.
Yeah, Powder's going to make a little bit of room here for him. He needs to spread these guys out a little bit. He needs to get some more minions in here.
And now this is looking like a beautiful Archmage Antonidas Frost Nova turn.
Yeah, just set up great here from Kaldi. Love the patience he's showing here with this Frost Nova.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of people play Freeze Mage, and at times you have to play it very fast just to try to keep up with what's happening. But when you give this deck time, it is one of the most dangerous decks out there.
Yeah, it is the hardest thing to do with Freeze Mage, is to realize when to go and when to sit back and play it slow, play it safe. And there's some games you can win on like turn 8 or 9, depending on how they play against you, how your cards line up. And there's some games you win on turn 16. With like Alexstrasza, Archmage Antonidas, and a whole bunch of other stuff going on.
Yeah, do you keep kiting or do you hold back? Powder actually not going to play his Void Collar here, so in the face of something like Flame Strike, suddenly he's not always getting a Mal'Ganis out of this board position.
Yeah, there's a good chance, that he just gets this Void Walker off here, but, it's not the end of the world. He can just play the Mal'Ganis for 9 mana in some situations.
Yeah, Powder cannot feel comfortable about what just happened either. He doesn't actually have a way to outright kill this Archmage Antonidas unless he gets a little bit lucky on some of these rolls.
Yeah,
but if he plays Knife Juggler first, he's not getting 4 imps on the board. His board's almost completely filled up.
Yeah, the thing, this is a hard turn for Powder here. Like, how do you move forward from here? Because this Knife Juggler doesn't combo well with this Implosions. You're not guaranteed to get a kill here on this Archmage Antonidas. If it sits around, you are dead.
I don't know exactly how he's going to push through this position. It's looking dire straits for Powder right now.
He needs to set up a turn where he can take care of this Archmage Antonidas and then get a Mal'Ganis into play and just hope it's good enough that it takes a fireball from Kaldi and then he could race from that situation.
It's not necessarily over at this point either though, because Powder could just very easily pick up like a Keys and Mystic. I mean, we saw Ecop playing Keys and Mystic in his Warlock deck. If that's in Powder's, you're looking at a potential to just completely blow Kaldi out of the game.
And do you think Powder would have something like Keys and Mystic in his deck?
Not in game 1, I don't think he would, but it's not to say that it's an impossibility. When he doesn't life tap, though, I am now kind of excluding it. The fact that he's conserving his life total so much, it tells me that he can't dig to a card like that.
Yeah, I mean, also it's just so hard for you to life tap here when he has two fireballs in his hand already and they're about to just start coming upstairs again.
Yeah, this is looking pretty darn bad. Kaldi's plan is pretty much set in front of him.
He has exact here. He's going to go Fireball, Fireball, and then next turn he can go Fireball, Fireball, Frostbolt.
Yeah, I think Powder's going to have to draw low tap if he wants to win this game. But again, the fact that he didn't life tap, I think, spells a lot of trouble for him. It tells me he just doesn't have those options in his deck. Overwhelming, able to pop the Ice Block this turn, and Mal'Ganis actually will present a bit of a problem here too.
He's going to be able to play. He's going to be able to play Mal'Ganis this turn, and there's going to need to be a Fireball into the Mal'Ganis plus a Hero Power.
I'm sorry, that's a Spider token. That is not an Imp token. He actually won't be able to pop the Ice Block this turn. But he's got to get Mal'Ganis in play. He can't just sit back.
If he doesn't get Mal'Ganis in play, he's actually just dead. So.
And he has to know he's going to be dead too. He just saw Kaldi launch 2 fireballs.
Yeah, you have to assume that Kaldi has lethal. Just a fistful of burn here. He's going to be able to take care of you.
Now, that being said, he could also power Overwhelming on the Void Caller and play the Void Walker, and that will yield a Mal'Ganis towards the end of his turn.
Yeah, when he goes to the end of turn, the Void Caller will die, and if the Void Walker's in play, then the Mal'Ganis will come into play, and this will allow him to pop the block. Maybe he's thinking about doing that. The thing is, he doesn't get to get a life tap. He can't life tap because the Mal'Ganis won't be in play yet, but I think he's okay with this.
Yeah, I think it's what he spots too.
Yeah.
Actually, still not going to be able to pop the block. That's a big talking point. He's pretty darn short of being able to pop it.
Yeah, maybe just play the Mal'Ganis then here.
Yeah,
get
I don't.
the extra damage in.
I think so. I think you just play the Mal'Ganis and
Get him to 2.
yeah, hope for the best afterwards.
Yeah, you just gotta hope and pray here.
Callie does have to. Well, you know, this is sometimes you get a blessing.
Yeah, well, this Blizzard into a. Well, I mean, he doesn't get to kill the Mal'Ganis though.
I think you just fireball hero power it and then hope that things work out afterwards. You know, you're getting your block popped, but you're looking at a Blizzard the turn after that.
What to do? What to do?
It's a lot tougher now, though. I mean, when you have to put Mal'Ganis like has taunt for spells.
Yeah, you have to take. I mean, like you have to kill it. I mean, obviously. Now, what is Caldy thinking about here?
Well, I think he's calculating exactly how he gets this done. And
I wonder.
wow, would be extremely surprised to see Arcane Intellect first. Honestly, I don't mind Blizzard and Doomsayer and just hope that your opponent doesn't have the damage to kill it afterwards.
I mean, his board is full, so if you Blizzard, there's almost nothing he can do.
Yeah, 2 of the minions will be dying in that spot, so
That's what I'm saying. It's almost full. There's not a lot he can do besides, he has a couple things, but
yeah, he's gonna fireball Powder down to 8 now. So Ice Lance is a lethal draw at this point. Powder, I mean, nothing left to do but pop the ice block. And obviously he can't life tap, so this is uncomfortable for him. You know, his Mal'Ganis has been used, and just gotta pass and hope for the best.
Caldy gotta.
Yeah, I actually not like adding him into the board tier 2 because oh geez,
That's it's a little extra.
it's a little bit extra. Sometimes you get Pyro. You just wait till I hit 10 mana. Pyroblast. That's going to deliver a final blow. I actually, I completely had forgotten about that card.
The second appearance of Millhouse Manastorm on our show tonight here from Nathan.
Just 10 over to the dome. What a great card, man. When Pyroblast was 8 mana, it was very oppressive, and now it's at 10 mana. I think it's kind of at its sweet spot.